A really important detail that I didn't include in yesterday's short about this vegetation is that while this is self-managing and is filled with native plants, and you see just about all of the space is occupied. Well, when the native plants are occupying space, that also does something else. It prevents non-natives from occupying that same space. These are our allies in the war against non-native plants, against invasive plants. It's one thing to pull non-native annuals, but after you pull them, then what? If you don't want to do this over and over and over and over again, or mow it or weed whack it or graze it or all these other redundant, brainless management techniques that are being used by human beings, then you need to replace the space that these are occupying with something good. Notice that in order to get footage of these annuals that I'm hand pulling, I had to come over here to the edge. I'm not out in the middle of the natives. I'm over here at the edge where humans disrupt and disturb. You'll hear advocates for the livestock industry saying that disturbance is good for plants. Well, certainly for invasive weeds from Europe, they definitely respond positively to disturbance. But it's true that some native plants also like disturbance. But let's be clear. There's disturbance in the form of an organism that evolved with that landscape, moving through the landscape. And then there's disturbance of clumsy, blundering, gigantic commodity animals and humans who are also just amazingly clumsy and destructive when they move through an area. It's not the same thing. You don't get to just call disturbance disturbance. If you are willing to overlook thousands of years of relationship development of plants, different animals, all learning to live in the same space together, and you're willing to be like, that doesn't matter, let's just throw something that doesn't belong there in the mix and think that that's not going to have a negative consequence, then I'm guessing you're willing to believe just about anything, as long as it suits your lifestyle, which in this case, of course, means eating things you don't need to be eating but want to eat. Or maybe it's some sort of strange allegiance to cowboy culture and ranching, as if it's your duty as a person to support those things. It's weird, but it's common. It doesn't make any sense. You have nothing to do with that culture. And it's not a good culture, despite the myth about these cultures that has been spread. All right, so we got all this panic belt grass here at the edge. How does the opportunity for this occur? I'll tell you, because human beings and their need for control and their need for management and things to be nice and neat and straight lined come through and cut back the natives that we're managing. Oh, we can't have anything encroaching upon our precious paths and our precious steps, even if they are natives. So then you have this. Human beings are causing this. Now, take my criticism of the disruptive effect of human beings being in an area that nature is trying to manage itself, and replace the Homo sapien with livestock, with a 1,500-pound dairy cow. It has no relationship with the land. Yes, it eats plants and it has hooves. That's where it ends. Human beings literally designed the animal to just eat, get big, so it can die. It has no relationship with the actual land. It doesn't give anything back to the land. It exists for human beings to make money off of that animal's flesh. The end. What kind of a relationship do you think an animal like that has with the other organisms in the area? We're talking about the biggest native animal in Point Reyes, the tule elk, being less than half the weight of one of these commodity animals. The biggest animal is less than half the weight of one of those commodity animals. And not only that, look at a cow. It's not designed to move gracefully through brush. It's designed to just bulldoze over the top of everything in front of it.